Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Kelechi, Unity Student Ambassador, Nigeria. So today, this session, we're talking about platforms and beginners. So it's targeted mainly at the beginners workshop, how to navigate the editor, some kind of misconception that we would have already gotten. We will try to clear them here. Yeah, so we'll be talking about basic scriptings in C Sharp. Yeah, so mm, okay, so yeah, I always tell people to take a leap. Why? Because before I started Unity, I always had the editor on my system just hanging around somewhere, and I always did other stuff. Yeah, so it took me it took a leap for me to open the editor one day. I can still remember it was on a Sunday. I opened the editor and I was like, okay, let me do something with this um this software, and it came out pretty well. So I'm telling you today, you should take a leap, because I know some people have this I say fright for Unity. Yes, I have so many people saying there are a lot of things, the GUI components are so many. So this workshop would be breaking things down, hopefully. Okay, so I'll break down my slide into three parts because I would want to go full practical. So I'll be working mostly on the editor. Okay, so what you should know getting started and you leap into the editor, like you can see. So when venturing into Unity 3D, the editor, you should have okay, let me go in the normal order. You can see I have four. The last was in the very opposite order. So I'll start with basic computer skill. Yeah, you should have an idea of how to navigate your computer. Definitely your file manager, file explorer, which may be your finder, anyone. If you're on a Mac, finder, you should be able to navigate your system, install softwares, uh, and all of that. So you should also have a logical mindset. Yeah. Recently, there are tools in Unity where you don't really necessarily need to program, but you still need to have a logical mindset. You still need to be able to solve problems critically. You need to be able to program. You need to be able to write things down into code that will be executed, because programming languages, codes are instructions. So you still need a logical mindset, because definitely you would be implementing a lot of features, you would be solving problems, bugs, and the rest. So an idea of vector spaces, yeah, I always like this one because most of the things you'll be doing on the editor, building games, cinematic stories, virtual reality, augmented reality, you'll be manipulating 3D objects or 2D objects. So you should be able to um, understand the vector spaces that we have. Yeah, we have the 2D, we have the 3D. The 2D is restricted to the X and Y, and the 3D is restricted to the X, Y, and Z. So idea of a vector space is you would also know how to scale um, this 3D object, but we'll do that in the editor. So getting started, yeah, this workshop, I already assume that you have your Unity installed, but if you don't have that, you could just Google Unity installation processes, or you can go to unity3d.com/get-unity/download. You would be able to install the Unity editor. Firstly, you're going to install the Unity Hub. From there, there's a very good wizard, like a very beginner friendly wizard that's going to take you through steps on installing the actual editor. Okay, so we're going to be navigating in the editor. I'll be showing you various components, and also um, building a very simple game. Yeah. So okay, let's let's go. Okay, so let me share my Unity screen. Okay, I hope everyone can see this. Okay, so this will be like a demo of what we're going to be making, and I'll be walking you through so many components and so many things that Unity has. So we're going to be making something similar. It's a beginner friendly tutorial by Unity, although it's kind of deprecated now, but I like it because I was able to learn some things with it. So we'll be implementing something similar. Okay, so let's assume you have your Unity editor or your Unity engine installed. I will just create a new project. Just create a new project. Let's call it Detour. Okay, sorry, Detour Rollerball. Okay, wait for it to create. So while the project is starting up, so a lot of people find it hard to understand the programming concepts to Unity, but I think what they actually find wrong is they try to learn everything at once, which is very, very wrong. You need to take it step by step. You can't really go to the advanced part of it without passing through the beginner aspect of everything. So um when you are venturing into Unity 3D, you don't necessarily need to be a master at C Sharp. Yeah. So you just need to understand some basic programming concepts, how to control statements, the if and else, how to declare variables, how to call methods, um, so many a lot of other things. But you don't necessarily need to understand the whole C Sharp code base. Okay, so I think we have our editor open. So let me just bring this here. Okay. So I have already set my layers. So by default, let's do I sorry, not my layers, my layout. So this okay, this is your default layout, I presume. But I like I like the way I like the way I work. I like my hierarchy at this side. Yeah, I like my game panel. So okay, let me go through this. This hope you guys can see my mouse. So here is the scene window. The scene window we have it's just like just sit like the back office or the behind the scenes where we do our work. We are going to work a lot in the scene window because everything on the scene window is going to project what is going to be shown on the game or whatever platform we're trying to create to. So the scene window here is right now we created a 3D project. So it's both in the X, Y, and Z space, the X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So here also we have the this here is our game our game let me just duck this back. Our game panel. Sorry. Um I like it by the side. Okay, come out. I like it by the side. You can see here we have the asset store. We would go through that maybe later at a later workshop. But asset store is did I say a store where you could get a lot of Unity assets, both made by people and made by Unity, free, paid. Mention it, every kind of asset you could find, sound, everything there. So like I said, we're going to be making a rollerball tutorial game. Yeah. So let's start by, okay, here is the hierarchy. The hierarchy panel shows everything that is on the scene view that will be on the game view. Let me come back again. So the hierarchy view shows everything on the scene. Everything that's going to be on the scene is going to be listed on the hierarchy. Your environment, your player, your game objects, prefabs, name it, is going to be on the hierarchy panel. So the inspector, yeah, the inspector, that's where you're going to do a lot of tweaking. Just take it like a settings kind of panel where you'll be able to control, edit attributes pertaining to a particular game object. Yeah, before I proceed, yes, everything, everything on the everything in the hierarchy we refer to as a game object. So once it has left the project panel, which is this place, once it has left the project panel to the hierarchy, it becomes a game object. So even the camera, this is the camera, the directional lights, and some other stuff we'll be putting on there. We would call them the game panel. Sorry, the game object. So let's start by getting our floor. Yeah, so the floor is going to serve as where our ball is going to be placed. So you can see if you right click, you're going to see a lot of options: copy, paste, duplicate, delete. So we're going to be using a plane. A plane is under the 3D object. So this is it, a plane. This is it. So another thing people find it hard is manipulating objects in the scene view. So I'm kind of not used to using the mouse. I use my keyboard a lot. Like funny enough, people said using keyboard in Unity is quite hard, but that's the way I learned it. So for me to pan through my or rotate my scene view, I just hold my Alt key and my left mouse button, and I'll be able to pan through, rotate the scene rather. But there are a lot of shortcuts you can use for this. You can use the Q. The Q is to pan the view. You can use W. You can see it over here. The Q changes here. That is the hand tool. W, the move tool. E, the rotate tool. Scale tool. Rect tool. Rotate rect tool. It's like the combination of all of them joined together. So okay. Now, let's come to the project panel. I like keeping things nice and simple. So I'll be creating some folders. The first is going to be script. That's why I'm going to be adding my C# script to control my game objects. We're having another folder, materials. So the materials in Unity, let's just take it. Okay, let me be very beginner friendly. Let's take it to be colors. You're trying to apply color to a game object. You create a material to do that for you. Okay, so scripts, materials. Okay, I think I would work with this first. With time, I would say that we'll be needing um another folder. So I need to add color to this plane. Okay, let me just zoom in. Is our plane. This is what we'll be working with, where our floor will be, where our ball will be rather. So if I right click here, this project panel, if I right click, create, you can see a lot of things. Just look for the material, creating a new material. I'll name it floor material. Okay, just format. Okay, like I said, the inspector window, the inspector panel is like a panel where you're going to change the settings of a particular game object. So here you can tweak the settings, the attributes, whatever you call it. So I'm just going to change the color here. So this is where I'll change the color. So okay, and just get this. Okay, I think I'm casting this. Okay, sorry, I need to close this. Okay, so hopefully this works. Okay, go work with this though. Um, let me choose. Let me choose a light yellow. So in real time, it's going to be affecting a game object here or material. Okay, so just press enter. Now to apply a lot of stuff in Unity, it's mostly the drag and drop concept. So I just need to drag this object and place it on my plane here. And you see it's showing. Let me just rename this to flow. Flow. Okay, perfect. So now that we have this, now our ball will be moving around, and now we don't want our ball to fall down in real time or fall off the edges here. So what we could do is, now, like I said, everything on the hierarchy tree is a game object. So I want to wrap my environment in a single game object. So I'll be able to scale them or manipulate them as a single. So what I do, I would create, right click, create an empty game object, make sure it's the position. Now the transform component is the position, rotation, and scale of the particular game object on the scene. So the position right now, you just need to set them to 000. You can do it here, reset. You can do it manually. But now let's call this environment. Okay. And I would drag my floor and place it in it. So now the floor is a child of the environment. Good. Now I want to create like our walls. So it's going to, our wall is going to be here, 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 and here. Now we'll be using primitive I say objects. Primitive object, I refer to them as inbuilt objects. So now let's use a cube. This is my cube. Now moving your cube, you could do them so many ways. You could do it in so many ways rather. This is the move tool. Yeah. So when you click the move tool, you'll be able to move a particular selected object. I can click my floor, move it. Okay. Control Z to set it back. My cube. Now let's just watch. Let me name this to wall. So we started manipulating 3D object. Like I said, you need to have knowledge of three vector spaces. So now I can just move my cube over to the side. Okay. Can bring it down. Just need to make sure it's by the side. You can do it any way you want to. That's why you're using Unity. You are not restricted to a lot of things. A lot of things are available for you to use. Now I can use my R key on my keyboard to resize my cube. So once I click my R, you see this anchors this for X, Y, and Z. So I just need to make it a little bit thinner on the X axis. Yeah. Okay, and wide. Okay, this is okay, I guess. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, let me just, okay, W to move, shift it backward. Okay, should I apply material for this? Should I? No, let's just leave it this way. So now I want to make three more, I guess. Yeah, three more. So I'm quite accustomed to using the shortcuts, but for beginners, I will be showing you. You just need to, this particular game object, this wall, you could just duplicate it here. Once you duplicate it, you see another one in the hierarchy showing you that, okay, there are two now. What you can do now is just move this to the other side. Okay, rotate your view to check if it's properly placed. Yeah, see our environment is coming to shape. Yeah. Okay, before I proceed, let me talk about some other panels. So our game, we have our game objects in. Our game objects in here is quite similar to when you left click here to create some components, game object components. So you could do a lot of stuff here, create 3D objects, effects, light, UIs, video player, cameras, and the rest. Every game or most projects in Unity, you'd be leveraging the cameras because the cameras portray what the end user sees. Yeah. So the light also serves as the normal real life light. If they are not light in an environment, you would not be able to see a lot of things going on. So if I click this light and this tag here is to activate or deactivate, like deactivate, you see that our object is acting like there is no light on it, so it's giving this dark effect. So if I switch it on, you'd see that you can now see them back. So Control S to quickly save. Yep. Now want two more walls here and here. Can just duplicate this again. Shortcut Control D. We have this. Can move it, and then we apply our rotate tool. Rotate tool here. Just click this and rotate. You can see we have like a bubble like kind of, it's like just similar to the anchor. So you could rotate in this way, so many ways. Just need to figure them out. But right now we're rotating in this way. So I guess that's the y-axis, yes. So I could easily just come to my transform under my rotation, under my y-axis, and put 90. Yep. So that's perfect. Just need to move it. So select my wall and move it to the back and position it properly. Okay, that's quite big, but come on. So so if you're wondering the environment I'm using, I'm running Unity 2019 on a Linux OS. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, let me shift it back a bit. Now you could do the same to the other side. So select, you see, you can select them. So select this one, hit Control D, and move again to the other side. Good. So okay. So um okay, okay. So having done this, I can now put in my player, the ball. think this is good. This is good. The ball. So I can come here again, right click, sphere. So my sphere now, I can reset it to be in the origin. I would want it to be a little bit smaller. So I would click it, click my resize. And instead of going directional, I'm going to go from the center. Okay, let me move this up so you would see what is happening. So I would going to be rotating this evenly around our axis. So I'll do this from the center. You see from here, it's going to scale evenly. If I do this, scales only on the z-axis and likewise other. So I can just do this. Okay. Okay, this is fair enough. Okay, let's give our player material. So here, create material, player material, player mat. Okay, let's give it light blue. Yep. And then you drag it and you can drop it here right in the scene view, or you can do it in the hierarchy. So scene view, I did it before in the hierarchy, let's do it in the scene view. So you just carefully place it there. Perfect. Now we'll be going to moving towards the scripting aspect. We would want to manipulate our ball, we want our ball to actually move. We would want our camera to follow the ball, and we'll be having some pickup items on the scene. So okay, let me do this. So first you go to our, we can here, these are projects panel. We can go to our various folders we've created. So we can go to our scene scripts. That's what I'm going to be writing our script. Right click, you create, and let's call this, create a new C# script. Let's call this player controller. Okay, so I have already set my Unity C# script to open on my Visual Studio Code. To do this, you can just come to edit, edit, preference, external tools, and external script editor. Here you could set whatever editor is installed on your system. For mine is set to C#, Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now let me open this. Okay. Okay, so yeah, scripting in Unity can be done in so many ways, even with the emerging technologies. I think they just made a visual scripting where you don't really need to write code. Dot has something like that, and the one they just made free recently, both. But those ones, I think they're quite advanced, but not really advanced. Isaac, in one of our sessions, will be talking about dots. That's data-oriented stacks. So it's going to be talking about them. But here, since we're going to be doing some beginner-friendly stuff, we'll be using the C#. Now, Unity, when you create a script, they generate this for you by default. Okay, so they import some assembly directives. They create some methods for you. So by default, you have the start and the update. Now, there are so many methods, built-in methods available in Unity. So many. I do even know up to 15%, I guess. But I try my best to work with them though. So the start function, how do I explain this now? I usually refer to the start method like the path of the part of life where things to be initialized. Okay, let me come to the editor. So when you have a lot of things that you want to make in the editor, especially um how would I put it, component. So component, by component I mean okay, let me go back. Component I mean built-in. Okay, can do this. Okay, good. Component I mean built-in functions like this. You see this mesh renderer. Oh, I will explain some of them. Sphere collider, although they're mostly generated by Unity. Some you're going to add them by yourself. Yeah. So to access most of these scripts, you need to initialize. Sorry, this component you need to initialize and will I say access them from the start method. Not necessarily you could do them in some other ways. You could do them on the update, but in the hierarchy of the way Unity scriptings run, there's always a kind of, in programming you have ways of running code. You run them linearly. So would I put let me put this in stacks. So there are some methods that would run before other methods. Yeah, we have the awake, we have the unenable, the awake, the start, the update, the fixed update, the late update, and the likes. So let me just write some codes and code. So we start with the player controller. So here um we want to be able to move our player rather, around this scene. So let me just, I like clearing things out. Now, like I said, in C sharp, we need to know some kind of concepts, know how to declare variables. So our player needs to move. We need to move at a particular speed, and all of that. So now I'm going to write declare some variables: public speed, sorry, public float, speed. Need to be fast about this. Our float is a data type, as we all know, and me making it public is so I'll be able to manipulate the variables or the number, or the how will I put it, the variable I'm giving to it, like the number of the speed I'm giving to it on the editor. So me making it public, I'll be able to access it right in the editor. So let me just write them and I'll explain to you. So another is private rigid body. I switched off my IntelliSense. Okay, private rigid body, RB. Just name RB. Okay, just do this. B. So start void start. I have this start. Sorry. So in my start, I want to get my rigid body components from the editor, or from the game object accessing. I'm referring to components type of rigid body. Okay, get component. Okay, that'll be that now. Now, there's another method. You saw the update, but a lot of articles, a lot of articles on the internet, you would see that it should handle your physics. Now, what I mean by physics now, most of things you'll be working on your games, you'll be working a lot of them with physics. So physics, you would relate physics to the normal real life physics. So for something to move, there need to be a kind of force applied to it and the rest. So when you're dealing with physics related features, you need to write them on the fixed update, because the fixed update runs on all frames, yeah, regardless the PC or the computer power. So on my fixed updates, I want to have I want to be able to control my ball, my player with my directional keys, my up, down, left, right. So we have an inbuilt function for that, input.get axis. So input.get axis takes in horizontal for the horizontal axis, horizontal, okay, and takes also input dot get axis, takes vertical axis too. Now these two function methods return a float. Now it returns a float data type. With this float data type, that is what you'll be using now to manipulate the movement of your player, or what you want to manipulate. So if I do this, I need to store this variable. So I can just do move horizontal, sorry, horizontal. So this is going to be this, and then float move vertical. Now this way I've saved my the variables that are going to be returned from those methods. Now I want to actually move. You can do this in so many ways, but I want to choose the vector3. Vector3 is a built-in data type in Unity. It leverages on assigning values to a particular game object in the X, Y, and Z axis. So if I do a vector3 movement, I want to now initialize um, values for them. So I can say, okay, in my x-axis, let's give it move horizontal. My y-axis, since I'm not moving up, I'm not jumping, just set it to 0. And then in my z-axis, I'll move vertical. Good. Like I said, for me to move, we need to apply physics. And now, this rigid body is like a physics component. It has so many methods. You can use it to make something move, jump, graffiti, bounce, a lot of stuff. So we'll be using, since I've initialized it here, I've created the variable and I've initialized it here. I can just do RB dot, we'll be using add force. Add force is to apply force to a particular game object, and it's going to collect a vector3. Our vector3 is this movement we've declared here, movement, and then we're going to multiply it by speed, so that it would act based on the speed we've defined. Good. Okay, so having this now, let's go back to the editor. Hopefully it compiles. Sorry. Okay. So here we're going to see the compilation process. Let me see if I got any error. Okay, good. Like I said, we're going to apply the player controller on our game object. So let's rename our sphere. Let's call it player. Okay. I would purposely run into some errors so that you know why I'm doing some stuff. So if I take this and I drag this here, good, and I try to play, let's see what happens. Let's see what the error is going to give us. Right now, my um player is now moving, and this is an error. It's telling me there's no rigid body attached to the player game object, but the script is trying to access it. Yeah. So, like I said before, when I declared that variable and I on the start, I try to get the component, it's going to come to the game object I applied the script to and try to access that component. But since it's not finding it here, it's going to throw the error. So what we're going to do is we're going to add components here and set rigid body. The 2D is for 2D project, and we're going to do this. Okay. Now let's play. Let's see. Let me go in a little bit. And you see that our rigid body is going to make our ball act very real. It's going to make it fall to the ground. Okay. Okay. So far so good. No error. And okay, our game scene. Okay. I think it's not moving. Why? Yeah. Why is it not moving? We have that our player is going to move based on the particular speed, and here we didn't define a speed value. So let's give it let me say 7. Should work now. Play. Okay, it's rolling now. You can see our ball is moving now based on direction I applied to it. Let me just click out. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing now is making our, you could see now referencing our game scene. You could not really see anything because our camera is positioned really off. So to do that, you could first of all, you could position the way you want your camera to look. Position the way you want your camera to look here, and then select your camera, come to the game object and click align with view. So the camera and the way your camera is positioned, that's where your game object is going, your game scene view is going to be is going to project. So click align to view. You can see that the position of our game scene and view has changed. Now we want our camera to follow our player anywhere it goes. So what we'll do, we're going to create a new C# script and call it camera controller. Camera controller. Okay. Would doing some things here. Okay. Open this up. I will have this again. Let me just delete this. Now, first I want my camera to follow. I want my camera to follow my player. So I'm going to create a public variable game object player. This is where I'm going to be referencing my player, and then I'm going to be creating a vector 3 and offset. So we use offset kind of when we want to reference a position in the game object regarding to another game object. Let me put it now. So our camera wants to look at our player, but our camera wants to have a set position. So when we play it, when we start our project, our camera should be in its initial position. So that's why I'm defining this offset. So our offset is going to be the initial position of our camera before it can then move. So this movement is now going to be added to our offset, and then it's going to act based on the movement of the player. So start function can add our private keywords. It doesn't really matter. If I remove in C#, if I remove the private and just leave the void, the accessibility level is still private. So you can just do offset is equal to transform. Let me write this well. Transform dot not block. Okay. Transform dot position minus. So I'm trying to get the initial position of my camera minus transform position dot transform the position of the player. Okay, I think this imported something I don't want to use. Okay, so this is our initial offset. That's the position of my camera. Now we have late update. Late update is comes after the update. So it works like just like its name. It works relatively to the updates, but a little bit after it. So it takes a little more added time for it to work. So when we're trying to do our late object, we want that okay, our player should have moved before our camera move. So that's why we are using the late object. So in the late object, we'll now move our player. So we'll set our current transform of the transform dot position. That sense is bad. Transform dot position of our camera, because we'll be applying this script to our camera, and then we'll be setting it to the player position plus the initial position of the camera, which is the offset. So I'm going to be adding the offset. Okay, this should work. Okay. Okay, back here. We'll allow it to compile. No errors. So I can drag this camera script on my camera object, and if I click it on the inspector, you would see the camera script is here. And now it wants me to reference my player, because my player variable was a game object I made public. So now you just grab your player and drop it here. So things should work fine now. Yes. Let's play. Okay, it's working. I'm moving my ball and it's moving. The camera is following it. If I hit the wall, because the cubes by default have what have colliders. So these colliders act like the physical wall. If without a collider, I would just pass through. So this is working fine. I think I need to bump up my speed. It's quite slow. So I go to my player and change my speed to 10. Okay, so we're coming to almost the end of this this workshop. But the last thing I want to do is add pickups. So the pickup will just act like maybe you want to pick up some things that would add point to your player score or something like that. So I can just here create create a 3-object cube. Let me see. Transform, set it to 0. Sorry. Set it to 0, 0, 0, 0. So it's here. I'm going to move it up so you see what I'm doing. Move it up, move it, and then scale it down. It's quite big. So I'm going to scale it down. Let's put it on the floor. Okay. So let's give it a color. So what I'm going to do, material, create material. I'm working with time now, and let's call it pickup matte. Let's give it shiny red. Yeah, so I'm going to my inspector, shiny red, and I drag this and I apply. Okay, sorry, this is, you see here in my game object, in my game scene, I can't really do a lot. It's just showing me what it looks like, so I can only work on my scene view. So I come here, just put this here, and that's fine. Now I want it to be interactive in some aspects. Let's give it a little life. So I want my game object to the pickup rather to rotate while on the scene. So I just create this script. Let's make it rotator. And I'm going to open this up. Taking time here. Okay, so open up, and I'm going to write my script very quickly. So since my updates now, updates in C Sharp is like what is happening currently, like the real time, as the frame goes by, what is happening. So I want my object to keep rotating. So I'm going to write that function in my update. So what I will do is transform 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 dot rotate. Now this is going to collect you can use there so many stuff you can put there, but I want to make it a vector 3, so I'll be able to manipulate in the 3 axes. So vector 3, let me just give its default values. Rotate in the x-axis 15 degrees, rotate 30 degrees in the y, and rotate 45 degrees on the z. And now I want it to rotate based as time goes on. I'm going to multiply this by the factor is called time dot delta time. So time dot delta time is makes movement it makes movement work real as frame passes. So this as frame passes. So I'm going to do this. Okay, this is okay. Transform by rotating the vector. This I'm going to go back to my scene. Wait for it to compile, although I've not applied it yet, but I'm sure it's going to work. Okay, no error. I will take my rotator script and apply it on the object I want, which is this cube. Let me rename it pickup. Now you see it here. So if I click play, my script, my pickup supposed to rotate. Yeah, perfect. It's rotating. Now I want to be able. Okay, let me play this one more time, and you see that if I move my player to the direction of my pickup, nothing really happens. It just hits and tries to move around it like that. So for me to hit my pickup and make it disappear, there's this what we call collision in Unity is getting the real time hit on two bodies. So for me to do this, I would use a built-in method called on trigger. So what the on trigger does is it's this is it here. On trigger collects an argument collider. So it gets the collider on that of that particular game object of the game object you're trying to hit, um, and references the tag. So just what I'm going to do now. So if order is the name of my collider dot game object, that's the game object I'm hitting. I'm writing this in my player script because I want my player to hit. So it's my player that's going to detect. So if order dot game object dot compare tag is equal to, let me just name this pickup, although I've not named it in the editor, equals to pickup. What happens, let's remove that pickup. So order dot game object dot set active. So the set active controls whether a particular game object is to be seen on the scene, and it's a boolean. It is true or false. So set active false. So if I go to my editor, I like to compile. Fully no errors. Okay, none. So I come to my pickup. Now this is the item I want, because I've defined a tag in my script. So I want my tag, I want every game object that is with the tag pickup should act the way I've set it to. So this is pickup. Pickup is like giving a particular game object a tag, like a normal tag, a name. So if I give this pickup, and we know in my script I said if my player should hit any game object that to hit any game object that has the pickup tag, the game object should be set to false. So if I click this, and I'll show you why it won't work now. If I click play, and I hit this, nothing really happens because my my cube, there's something I'm supposed to do to my pickup my pickup game object. It's supposed to now, okay, know that, okay, I'm a pickup. I should be waiting for every trigger that is going to be coming to me. So here I would come to the inspector and I will set in the box collider, I will set it to this trigger. So it can, this trigger is set to true, you can now trigger it to work accordingly. So I think now I should be able to hit it now and should disappear from our scene. Perfect. Perfect. Let me just make a couple more. Control D to duplicate, move. Um, Control D to duplicate, move. Control D to duplicate, move. And let me play. So disappear. Disappear. So when you have something like this, you just need to be able to manipulate and understand that, okay, I made my pickup disappear. I could do other stuff too. I could create I could create I could create um I could create some functions that if my player hits a particular pickup, okay, let's initialize a particular variable or let's do something. So you see, with this kind of logic, I'm already creating more features. I'm leveraging on the built-in functions and I'm making the game quite wide. So I think this is the end. This is the end of my presentation. You can this is the end of my presentation. So I would upload this to a repository. You can get the code there and play with it. Okay, so you can catch me on Twitter. On Twitter, you can catch me. Let me go back to my slide. So, okay, yeah, the community, if you have issues whatsoever, Unity, you can go to forum.unity.com or connect.unity.com to get and we are quite very helpful on our social media platform. Just tag at Unity. You see a lot of people will be able to give you help there. So you can follow me on Twitter at Kelechi1337. That's KHELECHY1337. Yeah, I think I'm done. Yeah, Isaac, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. That has been really helpful to the beginners. Maybe I can share a little bit of roadmap that we are up to after this. So later, maybe we'll upload the video to YouTube so that others can be able to grab the concepts. So thank you so much again, Kelechi. That was really helpful to the beginners. If you do have any questions, you can just let us know in the chat. Yeah, so what's next? So next Thursday, we'll have new guests, actually, from Unity Technologies. So we'll send the invite link shortly after the meeting so that you can prepare for the new session. But for the beginners, actually, things are a bit okay. Maybe if you do have anything that you'd like us to add as a content, please let us know.